Hey there and welcome. My name is Carlos Beres and in this video we are going to talk about describing your actions. And basically why I am trying to say that is that it can be a little bit boring to say every turn attack, over and over and over again. And also on the other side it can be a little bit lackluster when we try to describe a scene as a DM and people just, okay, I search the room. But why? What are you looking for? How are you searching? Are you walking around? Are you tinkering with everything? Like, try to describe it. I guess that one of the most common reasons that people do not describe their actions is a little bit of lack of comfort and trust. Comfort in the sense of perhaps they are just starting to play, perhaps they are just the new person in the group, and so they're not confident enough or they're not comfortable enough around everyone. And one thing that can happen to better or improve it is to make a session 0. I mention it almost every time, and then that everyone is in the same page when you start gaming, and everyone is also in the same page of what are their lines, veils, and so on. And another thing that I mentioned is the trust part. And the trust part, it will only come with time, I guess, because the players, they have to trust their GMs that they are not going to punish them when they try to describe something. Like, it's a very common thing about confrontational GMs, but this will be a subject for another video because it's a very much bigger than I can cover here in the middle of this other subject. But is that when they describe something and they do not describe exactly what the GM was thinking, the GM will then penalize them or make the test harder, or just say, but you did not say that you were searching on the particular wardrobe or on the particular drawer and something like that. Or also, when they try to make something, they will go out of their way to try and prevent them. So this is a kind of a bit of trust that can happen. And to the GMs out there, please do not do that. We want the players to describe, because on the other side, when they try to describe, they show engagement for the world. They show connection with the game. And this is something that we want. We want them to connect with the game. We want them to be inside the game and to be engaged and happy with what they are trying to do. But in the sense of the players, you do not need to describe every single thing that you are doing. You do not need to make a description like a Tolkienist description on J.R.R. Martin description of a banquet, or you don't need even to be famous is called or the poet from A Knight's Tale. You just making some simple ones, like I said. Okay, you say that you are going to search your room. Say, okay, I'm searching the room to try to find gold, treasure, or a particular note that I think that that can happen to help in what we are trying to achieve. So you don't need to make a very, very, very big description, and do not try to milk advantages. Like, this is something that I guess a lot of the time the GMs do not like when people over describe their actions. Is usually because they are trying to milk some kind of advantage, like attacking particularly in the slit of their helmet, or in a particular weakness from the opponent. This is something that, unless this is a call shot that has place in some games, try to avoid it. Try to describe only things that you can control, like how you make the motion, instead of exactly where you are trying to particularly hit. Because we know that if you are trying to hit something, you will not try to aim in the hardest part. So that's one of the idea. But you can, instead of just say, I attack, I swing my axe from downwards, or I run close to my friends and try to pierce them with my sword. This kind of stuff, instead of just I attack and that's it. And you can also sometimes build with the other players. When they describe something, you can try and improve what they are trying to describe. This is something that I will cover in more detail in the part of collaborative storytelling, but it's something that we can much improve in our games, because a lot of the times we have each one their turn, and it's one thing to not talk over the other person, but it's another thing to, okay, you are not talking over them, you are trying to contribute to them and what they are trying, the scene and the mood that they are trying to create. And also it goes a lot in the way that I mentioned of not trying to look at your character sheet to resolve the issue, because usually when you look at your character sheet, you tend to try and find something like a check mark. And usually when the GM proposes something, he or she actually, they are not proposing something is particularly to your character sheet in the most commonly not. So do not look at your character sheet, because it can limit the scope of what you can try to do. And then you say what you are trying to do, and many games, particular OSR, mainly now it's also trying to come back with that you then will let the GM or describe what is the role that you need to do, instead of say, oh, okay, I try to use my acrobatics to jump over the person. You can say, okay, I will try to jump over, and then the GM will say, oh, you need to use your athletics, and you say, perhaps can I use acrobatics? I mean, this was a very Dungeons and Dragons example, but you got the hang of it, I hope. And when you do not look at your character sheet, it gives you freedom to try and do some stuff that are not exactly described in the rules or in the character sheet, and you open space to ruling that is more free-flowing to the game, instead of that very turn-by-turn action-based like some video games. That is one of the things that we can mostly do only in role-playing games, is that we can do some things not from a list of options. We can try to do anything. Perhaps it will fail. It can happen. But you can still attempt. Like, limit the description of what you can do, and you will attempt to do that. Easy way to start doing that if you are not comfortable is using just a simple adjective every time. I strike with rage. I try to look methodically, or this kind of stuff. And remember, this is a social game. This is it has a group. So try to build with other people around you, because the GM is also one of the players. They are also trying to have fun, and then build with everyone the scene. And I hope and I expect that you have more fun and more people will be more engaged in the games as well. So this is the video. If you like the video, as always, like the video, share, subscribe. You know how internet works, and I will see you all in my next video. So see ya.